Good afternoon and welcome. Hi Nicole, thank you for joining me today. My name is Michele Jutrisa and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up here in New South Wales, Australia. Thanks for joining me and please jump on, say hello, let us know where you're from if you haven't been on here before. Okay, so we're going to play with something that I've been fiddling around with all morning and it's a product that I haven't used on a live as yet. And that is this washi tape. Now, let me just grab my catalogue. This is in the mini catalogue. It's on pages 56 to 57. Oops, let me turn this down so you can actually see what I'm looking at. Okay, here we go. So it's called the Greenery Lane bundle. And in the bundle, what you get is the stamp set and the dies. But you can also purchase as an extra add-on to this, the Greenery Lane washi tape. So it's this tape here. It's quite wide. It's about 9 centimetres in width, probably slightly narrower in that. It's 9 centimetres in width. And you can add it to your scrapbook pages. You could add it to your card fronts as is. But you can also add it to vellum if you wanted something that's light, a bit lighter and wispier. And the dies from the bundle will actually cut these out. Now, I will warn you, this is a little bit slippery. We had this one here, I think, which is in the annual catalogue, which is the floral washi tape. It comes with, the floral one comes with one die that cuts out the whole lot. The greenery one comes out with individual dies and you can individually cut each one. A few people have said that this one here seems to be a little bit slipperier than this one. Either way, I would still be using washi tape to make sure that these are down. With this one here, you've probably got a little bit, because the die is one big die and cuts out the whole lot at once. You probably won't get as much movement. But with this one here, because they're little individual dies, you will get a bit of movement. So this is what we're going to play with today. So let me pop this away and let me show you what I am doing. So I've got a piece of vellum here and I've just cut it. It's about 21 centimetres deep and I've cut it 9 centimetres wide. I'm also going to use this. This is from a cry cut machine. I don't have a cry cut. I've got a silhouette, but I purchased this because I thought this was quite good for cutting things like my cut and tear and tape. But it's also good for giving a bit of pressure to make sure this is all nicely adhered down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my washi tape and pull it out. And I'm going to lay it over the top. Now you could do it a little bit at a time. So lay a little bit out. And then depending on how you go, now I've already messed this up, but you can easily pull this back and you can use your hand to very carefully slide that along, or you can use something like this, hello Joan, and pop that along there. Now, so you can also just, if you're quick enough at doing this, just push that across like that. If you do get creases in it, and luckily this one I didn't get any creases in it, but I have done in the past. And I'm just going to cut this off now at where my vellum finishes. Now you could do this also onto your basic white cardstock. Just be very careful if you have to pull it up again to reposition it. And once I've done that, what I like to do is grab this or even a old credit card, something like that, and just run over it and just make sure that this is well and truly adhered down. Now, as I said, I didn't get any creases in this. I know the first time I tried, and I think I've already cut it up because I've got these pieces that I've done before and they're ready to be cut. But if you are very careful, if you get a crease in it and you're very careful, you could just very, very gently use this to press that crease out. But I just like to give this a really good rub down with this after I've done it, just to make sure there's no air bubbles and make sure everything is well and truly adhered together. So just do that and you'll be able to tell by holding it up to the light that there's no air bubbles. Now I do have a few air bubbles in this. I can see that from here, and I'm just going to rub them out. Now once you've done that, you can cut this with your mini cut and emboss. You just need your plates, one and your two twos, and as I said, it comes with all the dies to cut these out. Now I've still got my washi tape on some of these. Now there is one of these I do want to cut out for myself. I've already pre-cut a lot of these, so I'm only really needing to cut one at the moment. I'm just going to pop that into there, line my die up there carefully, and I've still got some tape on there, and I'm going to run that through. Whoops, my cut and emboss, that's moved. This is just how slippery this washi tape is, so I do advise just to be, and actually this is probably where that other tape that I've got just shouldn't tear. Found this one I used last week, tore my cardstock after I'd put it through the machine. This is supposed to be low tack masking tape. Because this is washi tape and there is some waxiness to it, I'm hoping this will stick without sticking, and it shouldn't tear anything up. So it's probably a good one to use for this sort of thing. I'm just going to pop that underneath there. Being a bit extravagant there with my tape, but that's okay. And let's see how we go. Now what I usually do is I go through and I cut all of these, as many as I possibly can, and then I've got them all ready and I just put them into one of our little cellophane bags and that's ready to go. And I didn't do a very good job of aligning that up because that is not cut really well. The masking tape worked well. That did not cut well at all. Let's try another one. There is a second one there. So I'm just going to line this one up again. See if I can make sure this stays a bit better. Now there's two colours on this washi tape. It seems to be Mossy Meadow or Garden Green and Lost Lagoon, and probably a little bit of Pretty Peacock. So just hoping I've got that lined up better. Just going to move it a little bit more. Because it's on vellum, I can see underneath where my dies are situated. So I'm just going to line that up a bit better. Pop that on top. And let's run this through again. Let's hopefully get a better image this time. Okay, this looks a bit better. There we go. I've managed to get a nice one there. Now, what I will try to do is grab my other sheet, because it seems to be that there's a dark one and there's a lighter one, and that was the dark one I just cut out, and I do want to maybe have a lighter one. So I am going to give this another run through. sure that's all lined up. And run that one through. Let's just pop that away for now. And there we go. There's another nice one in the lighter of the Lost Lagoon. So I'll pop those to one side. We don't need that one. And we'll pop that die to one side also. So that's the washi tape. And that's just one of the ways how you can use it. I'm sure there's, you know, I haven't tried it on white cardstock as yet, but I have seen it done and it's quite good. I've seen it used as card fronts, having a strip of this completely down, because you've got this beautiful little flower image on there as well. So you don't need to cut this up if you don't want to. There's lots you can do. And you can put this on scrapbook pages as well to decorate your scrapbook pages, or even cut it up to decorate. So let's get started on our card, and let me just bring in and show you what else I'm using. So we've got the Greenery Lane dies and the stamps, and we're going to do a bit of stamping with that. I'm also using the beautiful pattern embossing folder because I was trying to do a white on white card. It's not ended up being a white on white card, but I did want a bit of texture on my cardstock. And I'm also using the textured notes dies. Now these textured note dies are in the last chance. So if you don't have them, they are worthwhile to get. I'm a little bit sad that they are going, and I'm sure there's lots of other people out there that are disappointed that they're going, because they really are a nice rectangle die for cutting your products out. So going to be sad to see that one leaving it. It might just have to go into my stash and stay here with me. Okay. Now, there was one other thing I wanted to mention in this card. I am also using, and this is a discontinued product, a little latte designer series paper. I just felt it also needed a little bit of colour in the card, besides the leaves, just to sort of bring it all together. And the only paper I could find that I had here on hand was this stripe in the Lost Lagoon. So I am sorry, I try not to use discontinued papers, but look, if you've got them, hey, use them up. So I'm always left with stacks of paper. Excuse me, sorry. And I just thought, no, I'm going to throw a little bit of this in. So it's also going to be in my card. Okay, so what I've got here already, we need to do some stamping. So I will put the measurements and everything on my blog. Here is my Lost Lagoon stripe. I've got a piece for the front of my card. I have a piece here for the inside of my card. And I have already embossed, whoops, don't know whether you can see that, but I've already embossed my piece of basic white. I have my card front, which is 10.5 by 29.9, scored at 14.9. This is a 10-fold. This is my preference of card. You don't need to do this as a 10-fold. You could do it as a standard book fold style card as well. So that's going to go on there eventually. And I have got a piece of basic white for stamping on, which is just a quarter sheet. And this is my piece that's going to go on the inside of my card. So what I might do is the inside of my card first, and then we're going to pull in a new tool that we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere these two pieces together. Now, because I've got so much of this cardstock designer series paper and I do need to use it up, I thought I'm going to use the whole piece inside my card. So what I've done is I've just cut a piece which is slightly smaller than the inside of my card, and I've cut a piece of, whoops, I want to bring that over a bit more, basic white, and I'm just going to adhere that like that. So there's my piece for writing on, and let's grab our card front and let's pop this inside here. So I hope everybody's had a good week. Looks like, I'm just looking outside and it looks like we might get some rain. It's been quite hot. Got some rain late yesterday afternoon and just starting to look a bit dark out there. I just noticed the light has dropped in my room a little bit. Okay, so we're going to adhere that now on the inside there. And then I've got my piece of embossed cardstock and we're going to adhere that onto the front of my card. Now this is also cut just a little bit narrower than my card, about 1/2 centimetre. So my card front is 10.5 by 14.9. So this piece here I've cut at 10 by 14.4. Now, depending on your embossing folder, that can stretch once you've run it through your embossing folder a little bit. It can also shrink up a bit, especially if you're using something that's got a lot of texture. So that's my card base all done. Okay, so we need to do some stamping. So I'm going to bring in our new tool that we have, which is our positioning tool, Stampin Positioner. Yeah, I have to get used to saying this. I'm always wanting to say Stamparatus. And of course, I showed you this last week. It comes with 2 magnets with a little flange on each end, easy to pick up. You can purchase the designer series paper. The grid paper is a separately to the positioner. You can get the positioner free now if you're not a demonstrator and you want to sign up to become a demonstrator. Now, you don't have to run it as a business. You can run it as a hobby. But if you wish to become a demonstrator for this month, you will get this positioner, not including the grid paper, for free when you become a demonstrator. So if you're thinking about becoming a demonstrator, please, by all means, get in touch with me and I can help you out there. And I'd love to get a few more people on my team. It's always good to have a team of people that you can work with and share ideas with. Now, what I've done here, I've taken the stamps, excuse me, from the Greenery Lane, and I'm using these outline stamps. So there's 4 of them all together. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 2-step stamp. So you've got an outline stamp, but then you also have a second stamp that you can use to fill them in as well. So you don't have to purchase your washi tape. You can just stamp your images as well. But what I've done here, I've grouped these outline stamps in a little grouping because that's going to be where my sentiment is going to go. And then I have got this stamp here just off on one side because I want to cut that out as well. So I want to stamp and die cut that. And I'm going to stamp and die cut these in the same colour. I'm going to do these in basic beige. Now, the beauty of this stamp positioner is that it is, I can just pop my magnets on there and that will hold all my cardstock there in place so it doesn't move. And I pop that down there like that. There's a gap between the bottom plate and my top plate. And these little feet here, I've got little springs in it. And the same with these top nodules up here, which are actually on the main plate. So at this point in time, nothing is actually touching. The stamps are not touching my cardstock. I'm just listening to outside. It's just starting to rain, and I just need to move that up a little bit. So I can ink this up and put this on and be quite happy with the fact that no ink is touching my cardstock until I press down on this plate. So I'm going to take my ink pad to my plate and stamp up my images, and I'm going to stamp all of these at once. I mean, I'm going to make life easy for myself and just do them all in one hit because the plate is quite a good size, and we'll take all of them. And the beauty of having a positioner is that if I don't get it right the first time, I can re-ink it and go a second time. So we're going to press down on this, just hold it down for a few seconds just to let that ink transfer, and then it'll just spring back up. Now, I'm not happy with the ink coverage on that particular leaf. This is the first time I have used this stamp, so it hasn't been seasoned as well yet. So I've just re-inked up that one. I'm going to pop this back onto here again. Just quickly look, make sure it's all lined up. Yes, it is. I'm going to push that down, let that ink absorb into that paper, and there you are. I have a better image there. So I'm just going to clean this down with my chamois. I also got a bit of ink there on my plate, but that ink didn't carry through to my cardstock because there is a gap between the plate. Plate doesn't actually ever touch your cardstock. It's only the stamps that touch, but while it's up and not pushed down, nothing touches. So that's going to make stamping, if you're wanting to do stamping and a lot of it, if you want to do multiples of that, that's going to make this a lot easier. Now, this also comes with a smaller plate, which is this one here. And what I want to do is I want to stamp my sentiment in the middle there. I've already pre-lined up my sentiment there. I'm just going to lay this over the top and just check, yes, that's where I want that to go. I'm going to pull in now my Lost Lagoon and ink this up. This is plate small enough that you can actually take the stamp to your ink pad. Line this up, making sure this is all straight because this does have a little bit of a play in it. Once you're happy again, press down and that will ink up there. If you want to make that a little bit more of a solider colour, you can re-ink. Pop that down again, but again, make sure you line that up well. Because remember, this plate's got a little bit of play in it, and then again, push down and back up. And that will allow you to stamp over it again. Now I'm going to stamp that again because I didn't quite get that second coverage up the top. And there you are. So I'm quite happy with that. So we'll just clean that down. Well, I've just been a little bit of rain. It's got more blue sky coming through now. Okay. So I'm going to pop that to one side, close that up. And I'm going to remove that from my positioner. Okay, so now I need to do some die cutting, but I can't run this through. I can run this through together on my big one, but I'm only just going to use my little one. So I'm just going to get a pair of scissors here and cut that in half because I want to die cut this particular image here. And here's my die, and I've got my Post-it note tape on there. Secure that down. And then I also want to die cut this out as well as my sentiment. So let me just grab my cut and emboss here. I love this mini cut and emboss. It is so handy to have this on my desk. So I grab my small plates there and pop that on. Position my die where I want it to go. And we're just going to cut that out. Whoops, I've got to put this away yet. Still got a bit more die cutting to do. So that's just going to give me my sentiment just like that. So I'll pop that to one side and put that back in, and let's grab this one. Just make sure it's all lined up. And we're going to run this one through as well. Now, in designing this card this morning, I sort of wasn't quite sure what leaves I wanted to use, because not only do you have this leaf here, this is one we stamped out and we've die cut it out. You just grab the right folder here. But you've also got this large one here. So there's your die that cuts out this one, and then this is just a standalone die that just cuts out a leaf image for you. So what I've done is I've already pre-cut this particular one in the basic beige, but I've also cut it out in Lost Lagoon in the two-tone cardstock, because I'm not really 100% certain if it's this one here I want to use or one of those. So I thought I would ask you what you think, and we'll have a bit of a play. So let's pop all this to one side. Pop these away so they're out of our road since we're finished with them. Put our dies all up there together so we don't lose them. And let's bring in our card and all our components, and let's have a look at what we're going to do. So I've got my stripe here. Now I do want to put that on the right-hand side, and this is going to go here on the left. So because these leaves here do take up quite a bit of room. Now I've already, as I said before, pre-cut a lot of my washi tape. So we're also going to be using some of those. So let's adhere these pieces that we know for sure are going to go down. So this one here, and I'm going to pop that down just there like that. Excuse me, sorry. And then this one here is going to go up into this corner up here. Now I'm not going to adhere that down just as yet. I was thinking of popping that up on dimensionals, so I'll just pull them out just so I've got them handy. So this is where we're going to need to play a little bit. Now, as I said before, with all of these, and actually I think that's garden green. So you've got your garden green, and I thought, well, there's no actual garden green in this. It's really just your basic beige, basic white, and Lost Lagoon. So sort of trying to get away from using the garden green in this. But you do have a darker tone of the Lost Lagoon. That's why I think it could be pretty peacock. We do have our lighter tone in Lost Lagoon in that one, and also in this leaf. And there was a lighter one here and in that one. So let me just see if I've got a piece of basic white cardstock here that I can just pop underneath these so we can see what we're looking at. So these are the washi tape leaves. So my thoughts were, let's have a look. I'm popping this piece on here because I do want it connected to my sentiment piece. Maybe adding, by having my sentiment over to the right, it allows me room for this big leaf. And then, so I've got the basic beige, then I've got the darker shade of either Pretty Peacock or just a darker shade of Lost Lagoon, and then the Lost Lagoon down there. And then finishing that off with a linen thread. So either we go for that, or I know that I'll probably want those two together, or we pop that to one side, bringing this one in the basic beige. Again, it's fairly large, so I do have to have it down a little bit, and that one up. And then these two layered again on top. So let me know what you think. The other is that in the Lost Lagoon, and that's because that's in the darker shade of Lost Lagoon, so it's not fighting the stripe. And then all of these on top in the shades of Lost Lagoon. And then I've got the linen thread bow. To me, I think that's just too much Lost Lagoon there. So it's which leaf do I do? I think that one is out. It's this one. And I was thinking at one stage of putting in one of these green ones, but it's sort of like, does it look wrong? So you've got a little bit of a different colour in there. Okay, guys, need your help here. Or do we do this one, which is going to bring in a bit more of the white behind it? So do we keep the garden green, or which one of these two do we do? I'm sort of thinking a little bit at the moment. I'm tending to like this basic beige one here. Let's have another quick look. What I might do is I might pop this up onto dimensionals anyway. Might help to make up my mind. Joan, you like the basic beige? This one here, the die cut one, or the one stamped? And do we use the garden green? So let's just pop this one here. or do we keep it some more monotone? Yeah, I like the die cut one too, I think, Joan. And I'm thinking I like the monotone. I just don't know. I think I'm just too... It goes, but I haven't used this colour anywhere else. That's my biggest problem with bringing that in. So I think I might keep it all in the monotone. So what I'm going to do is just grab my glue dots and start adding my glue dots on, and I'm just going to work top down. Oh, excuse me. I still haven't got rid of this terrible cough that I've had. It has improved, the doctor told me. Then they put me on to Ventolin, and it took my voice. So then I had no voice. So I've stopped taking the Ventolin. Laid all of that onto there. Now I just want to pop a few more glue dots on the back here. Yeah, that's what I thought, Joe, not the green. And let's pop a glue dot on there. And a glue dot there. So hiding it behind the die cut in the basic beige is really good. Put a few glue dots on that. Not too many. I've got about 3 there because I just want to bring that so it just overlaps. I might just bring that down just a little bit more. I just want it so it overlaps that corner. And then we'll pop another glue dot. For the linen thread to go on. I'm just folding that up a little bit and sticking that on the top, just where they all join there. I'm trying to stick it on the top. It either sticks to my figure or... Okay, that's there now. And then we're just going to get our little bit of twine and push that down on there. And then we can just trim these. So we definitely don't need them that long. And there's our card. But what I might do is just add, just taking some of these bits and pieces away. I have got a whole lot of embellishments. This is another thing I don't use a lot of. So we've got the faux bronze pentagons, which could look quite good on that. We've also got the natural matte dots, and we've got the basic beige in those. Also got the pressed flower motif, which is another bronzy type one. And then I've got, these are online exclusives from November, and it's in the Lost Lagoon. I'm not quite sure whether I want to just add maybe one of these bronzy ones, I'm sort of thinking. And I like these ones, which have got just a little bit of a flower motif to it. Yeah, I think they might look good. And I just want to add a few of these. So pop one there. So I've got one large one, two small ones just there. Then I want to do another grouping, maybe up here. And another grouping. So we're going to do 3 groupings in a triangle, and I'm going to pop it probably in there. Just like that. I think that looks good. So there's my card for today. I had to go through and have a look at all my products and think, now what haven't I used? And this was something that I haven't used really as yet. I did all the die cutting of all my washi leaves a while ago, but never ever created something with them. So there we go. And thank you everybody for your help. So I hope you like that. If you wanted to, you could probably add, which we might do. Actually, that looks quite good. Or would we go a darker one? Or we could add the 2 of them. I think we might do that. So I'm going to grab my washi tape again. Not my washi tape, my glue dots, I should say. Put one on there. Well, it's nice to have the rain, though. I was thinking of having dinner outside tonight, and I don't think we'll be doing that now. Did I get that second one up? Yep, I must have done. And we're just going to pop that one there like that. So there we go. So there's the inside of our card, beautifully decorated, and the outside as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how the Stampin' Positioner plate works again. I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of that. Hello, Felicity. Thank you. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely day and a lovely weekend. And I will try to get this blogged up over the weekend with all the measurements and everything that I've used as well. So take care, and again, thank you for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you all next Friday when I create another card. Bye for now.